Welcome to Cooking with Sven. I am your host, Sven. Apologies on the reschedule. Life happens. It's all good. Tonight we have an awesome episode with a recipe dating all the way back to, I believe, either the First World War or World War II. So let's go get messy in the mess hall. Hello again. Welcome to Cooking with Sven. I am your host, Sven. Tonight we are making s.o.s, as the police once sang, message in a bottle. But this recipe is called shit on a shingle, and I've actually never even heard of it. I live in Texas. I do have biscuits and gravy, I guess, so you can kind of say it's maybe in the same family, right? The same kingdom, phylum, whatever your preference may be. Tonight, my guest is the uncle of our fearless leader of IBT. It is Greg May in the month of May. What's up, Greg?
Hi, how are you doing? Great to see you. Nice to
He
finally
is an
see
Eagles
you.
fan?
Yes, I mean, when I saw your pasta show a few weeks ago, and I was kind of like, geez, are you kidding me? So, but
I'm loving
I'm
it.
representing. I'm representing. I'm
I'm
outside of
loving that
Philadelphia.
I'm loving that he's representing the Eagles, and I figured tonight I would wear an overabundance, right? I have the Cowboys star here, Cowboys there, Cowboys here. I could probably wrestle up a couple more outfits, more attire to wear
We're good.
for
We're
tonight's
good.
episode, right? But let's start it off
It's all
with
good.
cheers, my friend. And what better
Yes.
way to do that than
Cheers.
with a Yingling from your great state of
Oh,
Pennsylvania, my
nice.
friend.
Nice. Well, I got a little.
It is the Yingling Flight.
Oh, well, it works.
It's not
I got
bad,
a little.
actually. For a light beer, it's not bad. Yeah, what are you drinking,
Right.
my man?
I got Perpetual Haze from Trogs. Some brothers started up a little brewery in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and they're doing pretty well. So my brother-in-law hooked me up with this, and this is one of their delicious ones. My favorite is Nugget Nectar. That's one of their best, in my opinion.
That
But
sounds awesome.
solid beer. I love it.
If I ever get out to Hershey, I have to give that a
yeah.
I got to give that a shot. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Also, just want to give a shout out to my man Dave Fantasy. All the camera changes, all the comments, everything that you see changing throughout this show, that is Dave. What's up, Dave? He's probably waving from behind the scenes. He may pop in and out, to say what's up. And also, be sure to hit that like button, everybody. All right? Make sure to subscribe to this channel. Every week, there's content, sports, life. Go to inbetweenmedia.com. Constant content always coming at you. So, but to talk about our highlight of tonight is shit on a shingle.
Yes.
Greg, this is your recipe. I know that you're very, very excited. Greg cooks for his family. Yeah. He's not a licensed chef, but he absolutely enjoys cooking, and that's exactly what I mean. Yes, I do have a little experience, but I also love cooking for my family as well. So, Greg, tell us a little history about this recipe while we kind of get some things prepped as well too.
Yeah. So my mom, we live in Lancaster, which is Amish country. So pretty much everything goes with gravy. You know what I mean? Whenever she made a little ham slice, we always had gravy with it. Somehow, some way, she would find a way to make a little bit of gravy that you could, use. And this is pretty much that. You're basically taking everything and you're making it into a gravy. And I grew up with it. It's great to feed a bunch of people. And like you said, with me, I just love cooking. I have no experience in the restaurant business whatsoever.
You have experience in the kitchen, though.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, I love cooking. And one of the best things about cooking is making dishes that bring the family together and bring your friends together. And this is that dish that, like, when I go on golf trips, I make it the first night and we have it for like 3 or 4 days. And, you're just sitting with your friends or family around a table, and it's just delicious food, and
that's awesome.
So yeah, that's s.o.s. It's was created, and I thought my mom created, like, her group of people in like the 60s or 70s, but no, not so. It was created by the military, the Navy, actually.
Yep.
And they needed a way to make a bunch of food for a lot of men and women, so they basically got whatever meats they could and got their milk and flour and butter and then put it over bread or home fries or something, and you got yourself some s.o.s.
Hey, Katie. She's
Hi,
excited.
Katie.
One of Uncle
yeah,
Greg's.
That's about it.
I'm just gonna call you Uncle Greg if that's cool, right? I mean, you're just.
It's okay. That's okay.
It works,
She's had this a few times. She's had it over biscuits and over, fried potatoes. So she's had all of it,
And over biscuits.
I grew up with
too.
it over. Yeah, which you're going to be making. That
is also another thing that we are making. The main dish is this shit on a shingle, right? But we're making some homemade biscuits as too, folks. All right, which I've made them a few times. I don't think you've ever made them, Greg.
I've never made them. Right? No clue.
You will never want to. Yes, they are a little time consuming, right? But when you put, this, right? You put a little bit of TLC, you put a little bit extra time into some of these dishes, and oh my God, the biscuits, you're never going to buy Grands again. You're never going to buy
That's what we would use. So I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited then.
And we also got some taters as well, but we kind of pre-prep those a little bit, and that's not going to take too long. So,
well, one thing I want to say about that is, having families and people out there they're busy with sports and this and that. Fried potatoes. I baked mine in the oven 3 days ago, and now I got to do is fry them up, and they're going to take maybe 5-10 minutes, if that. And you have yourself some fried potatoes, and just bake them quick. Keep them for keep a week. Because we're running everywhere. Everyone's busy,
That's right, my man. Hell yeah. So all right. So we got our pan. Okay, let me turn my pan on right now, right? So I'll turn both pans on. We have our oven preheated to 450 right now for our biscuits. The shit on a shingle, it's not going to take, I don't think it's going to take too long, right? At least the prep and everything. I mean, it's pretty much
cake.
That's it, right? It's 4 ingredients. Salt, pepper, a little bit. That's
bring it up to a boil to get it thick, and boom, it's ready to rock and roll.
Awesome. So I think what we should do is I'm going to take out the butter, get that ready for the s.o.s.
Okay.
Butter. I believe you called for a whole stick, correct?
Whole stick. Yep.
All right. And then I saw that it was half a gallon of milk. That's
okay.
Great.
So whole milk.
That's crazy. Yep, I got whole milk.
My mother made sure to, when I talked to her tonight, she made Gregory make sure it's got to be whole milk. If you do anything else, it won't be right. So, Gene, I love you.
And obviously, the purer, the better, too, right? Like, obviously, like you said, I think you even sent me the recipe, and you said it could either be raw milk or whole milk. The fattier, the better, right?
Yes. It can't be 2%. We're not doing that stuff. This is
none of that pasteurized.
Right. We're not worried about cholesterol really and all that other stuff. We're just ready to rock and roll and eat some good food with family and friends.
Exactly. All right. So I got both pans on.
All right.
Let these warm up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to chop up. So I don't know if anybody's ever heard of this. I guess I guess I have, but I didn't know the name of it, right? So this right here is dried beef, right? So I got my dried beef from Central Market down in Texas. The lady kind of looked at me. I was like, "Do you have any dried beef, for a dish called?" I was like, "Shit on a shingle." And she kind of looked at me, and they looked at each other, and they were like, "Is this guy serious?" And I'm like, "Well, it's kind of dried or whatever. It's like almost like a prosciutto, right? But like in the beef side, maybe." And then they found something. So and it smells amazing, and it tastes like beef jerky almost.
Right. Yes.
Where do you get? So you get yours. You said you get yours at the deli.
I got mine from a butcher shop right here. Is Groff's. Here's my lard for the potatoes, but it's Groff's butcher shop. They do their own, harvesting of animals and taking care of everything, and they take care of Lancaster County with a lot of meats and different thing like that. So this one is mine, s.o.s. It's chipped, as you have to tell them, because you can get it sliced. So I don't know if you can kind of see that a little bit, but it is dry. I mean, it is a dried.
Yeah, this is definitely dry. Oh yeah, I'm slicing it right now. If you want to pull it up, Dave.
Well, and
I'm
sometimes
just
you have
kind
to
of
slice it.
long
Yeah.
strips of it.
Because sometimes
can
they'll
see.
chip it for you, and sometimes it's chipped a little thick, and you got to do it yourself. You know what I mean? It just depends.
I may even sneak a little piece of this actually too.
I mean, I'm gonna.
You got to try. I mean, you got to try your product. Oh, it's terrible. Shouldn't have any.
Yes, yeah, it's so good. I mean,
it's very good.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that dried beef. Look at that butter just waiting to be melted and then soak up all the dried beef. So essentially, it seems like we got a nice little theme going on with some of the episodes for, Cooking with Sven. We seem to be making a lot of bechamels, right? Like with the flour, butter, milk. I mean, we did that mac and cheese. What else did it? We did it. I think I did it with one other episode. The cheese sauce for pretzels. There's another one.
Right. Yeah.
That was another good episode. Shout out to Nate. What up, Nate? All right. My beef is ready. Is your pan ready to go, my man? Tell us. Like, I mean, obviously, like you said, the recipe is very simple, right? It's not
medium heat. Throw in your whole stick of butter. Throw in your whole stick of butter. And as you're chucking in your whole stick of butter, just throw in all your cream dried beef. And you're going to let that kind of do its thing.
Awesome. I didn't realize that we had that much milk, so I actually just, on the fly, just switched to a bigger pan, actually. So,
yeah, so I mean,
this
is where I walk down to the driveway, get the paper, come back up, relax on a Saturday morning or Sunday while the butter melts into the dried beef, and it'll kind of take its time,
So you throw the dried beef in as well too, while it's also.
Yep, okay. I throw it all in. It's just easier that way. I mean, I guess you could do butter first, but then you have to worry about butter browning a little bit. I mean, again, being from middle central PA, we love our brown butter over pasta. That's always a delicious little treat.
Over pasta. Okay.
I'm telling you, that's another good one.
It sounds very unique, coming from an Italian, I guess from New York.
Yeah, you just basically take butter, you burn it, you brown it, and then you just put it right over. It's really good over like spätzle. Sometimes I'll make spätzle and throw it over that, And
love me some spätzle.
Whatever that's what I call it. But yeah, you know how it is.
No, yeah, you got to add the little accent to it, right? I actually just had some a couple of weeks ago at one of my favorite restaurants in Texas. Actually, it's Austrian Hungarian because that's what I am. And my father was born in Austria, so. That's one thing that I still have not made of like Hungarian, Austrian, German, like that type of cooking yet. I've done schnitzel, cabbage, German potato salad. I've even tried my own sauerkraut. That's pretty tough.
Mm-hmm. I make my own sauerkraut too.
Ooh, we'll have to exchange recipes, my friend.
Yeah, we have some. I canned stuff, so yeah, we have stuff canned and. Yeah, we don't have many German, Austrian restaurants up here in this area right now. We had a delicious one about 20 years ago and, just kind of went out of business and.
Hey, it happens, right? It's unfortunate. Yeah. Okay. So we got the s.o.s, we got our butter, and then we got our dried beef. I believe you said it called for a pound, right?
Yes. Pound of
dried
beef.
the more the better probably, right? So.
Yeah, and you can kind of half the recipe. You can kind of so I don't know if you can see mine from a different angle, but my butter's pretty much melted in there.
Okay.
And now you're just going to take a cup of flour and throw that in.
Cup of flour. I got it set to the side. I'm not there yet. My butter's still kind of melting. Yeah.
Now this is one where my mom and I always differ because my mom likes more milk in hers and I like a little less milk, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So like the more flour you put in, the more milk you can add. The less flour you put in, So we're
Exactly.
basically, this is, as we talked about before, what, making like a roux or something, or yeah, I don't know. That's where you come in, Sven, to
Yeah. Oh
tell
yeah.
me
No,
these things.
definitely. Nice little roux you're making kind of right now with your flour, with your butter, and then you just added your flour?
Yep, just add my flour and you just
Yep.
mix it.
Yep. Exactly. You're basically doing a roux with dried beef, and then we're gonna add the milk for our nice little bechamel. And
And the
that's
feeling
it,
is,
right? And then
yeah, and you can always add more milk. I mean, whatever thickness it is, you can always add more milk. It's you want to have it a little thicker to begin with, so you know what I mean. It's better to have more flour than less, in my opinion.
less is more as well, too, right? You can always add, you can never take out. So
Right.
I keep it reiterating that, throughout the life of this show, and always taste, see how it tastes. Hey, do I want to add more? Do I need this?
Right.
Like, never just jump right in, right? Don't jump in head first. Like, you kind of have to dip your toe in a little bit
Yeah.
when it
No, I
comes to
agree
cooking,
completely.
right? Because do you bake? Do you bake at all, my man? I'm not
No,
really
I
a
am
huge
not.
baker.
I don't see that part of like science. You know what I mean? Like science on the stovetop, I get, but the
Yeah,
science in baking, I'm not. But I didn't read a lot about it. I just, yeah, I mostly cook on the stovetop. That's where I'm at.
it's science, exactly. Like but that's also the other good thing about it too, right? Because
Right.
that if you add like 5 extra tablespoons of baking powder, right? Oh my
Right.
God, you completely ruined. But as we say that, we are baking tonight.
Right.
We are making some biscuits though. So while that's going, you actually let's talk biscuits. Let's talk some homemade biscuits, right? So right now I got a bowl. I believe you combined yours pre-show, totally
Yeah.
fine. But we'll go through the ingredients right now. So we have flour, 3 cups of all-purpose flour. I've never tried any other different flour for biscuits. I imagine bread flour would be pretty good, but all-purpose. Most of the recipes that at least I see out there, they are all-purpose. I'm trying to think of any other flour that you would potentially use. You're not going to use any other like pasta, like a semolina. That's
Okay,
just,
got
I
you.
mean, you're just not going to do that, right? So all-purpose. Then we got 3 tablespoons. What is it? 3 tablespoons of sugar with my cool psychedelic little
Oh,
Petries.
nice. I like that.
3 teaspoons of baking powder, our nice little leavening agent, right? And then cream of tartar, which is also another leavening agent as well. So the whole idea is we'll combine those. Let me combine these first. It's cool having like a nice kitchen and everything, but then like when you put stuff all the way around, it's
I'm with you. There's stuff everywhere.
right. Like I'm like, where did I put this? But then why did I put it there? But then you keep it there anyway. You're like, all right, well, okay. So all of our dry ingredients, right? And you already have your dry ingredients all
Yes,
set,
I throw mine together because it just was easier. But it's an easy recipe to throw everything together. It tells you.
right? Exactly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a cup of milk on the side. We're about to add that. I'm just checking my dried beef over here because I got to add that cup of flour to that. But essentially, I mean, we made pasta, we made pretzels on this show. Now we're making biscuits. I mean, it's definitely a very flour
Yeah, but
driven,
they're
almost seems
essential.
like.
If you think about it, they're like essential human like foods. They're the basis of like a ton of stuff we eat.
Pretty
And
much,
that's
yeah.
important.
And they all cook and come out very differently too, and that's what I find so
Right.
fascinating, right? The pasta was just flour, egg, water, and olive oil. That's it. Whereas then we
Yeah.
did the pretzels, had to add the yeast, we had to let it rise. That's a completely different dough. This one, flour, baking powder, and then your tartar, like that's your leavening agent for it,
Okay. I didn't
right?
know
And
necessarily what it does. So thanks.
yeah, so exactly. So like
I don't
because
bake.
I've used cream of tartar before, but I didn't know it was actually considered, I guess, a leavening agent. In other dishes, it's used for other things, but when you like specifically for baking, it definitely is used as a leavening agent, right? So we're gonna those biscuits, but once we actually get to, you know, molding them and actually shaping them, then you'll see, like, I mean, where these like, ooh, very excited. All right, my dried beef, the butter is all melted.
Okay.
And this beef smells amazing right now. Like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah, just toss in your
flour. Now, let me ask you, so what I did before I made the flour for the biscuits, do you sift it at all? Have you ever
See that I'm
sifted
not a
it?
baker. Like I will say I think sifting makes a huge difference, but I'm not a baker, so I kind of forgot about it, to be honest with you. But I
No,
like
just, I
sifting.
mean, I was just checking with you, yeah, just to see if that's something that you've tried, you know what I mean, for this particular dish that not necessarily could, I mean, it could change it, maybe, but probably
Right.
not, right? I imagine it
I
wouldn't
think because
change it
over
that
the
much.
time of the amount you cook, just the time it takes for the milk to boil, it just gets in every, you know, area of it and like brings out all of the flour from every part. I think like even if it's clumpy, it'll eventually just make its way to it, you know.
Right, exactly. And that's what I did, like I said, for the biscuit one. I gave it a shot, right? Hey guys, be sure to follow us on the ticker, on the stock exchange ticker on the bottom that you see. Thank you, StreamYard. That's a cool feature. All right, so I got the flour in here. It's kind of turning a little brown already. When would you add the milk?
I would do it now. Whenever everything's together, the butter's melted, you can just add it and start to get it
And
up
just
to a
let it.
boil.
Okay. Did you added your milk?
I'm going to do that now.
Awesome. And it looks like you got a fancy stove, gas. I am not that fortunate down in Texas. I mean, you gotta.
Well,
Sometimes you gotta pay.
we were able to get a stove about 8 years ago, and since I love cooking on the stovetop, I'm like, I'm getting what I want, you know. Like
Yeah, I hear you on that.
I cook a lot. It is my relaxation from teaching all day and other things, and you know what I mean. I wanted a nice stove, so
That's awesome.
we got one. You know?
I do not have my camera unfortunately set up over the food because of I'm still working out some kinks, but I'm still going to show you the dish. I brought it over here. So there's my dried beef right now. Because when I did it, I put my phone over the boiling water, and it kind of overheated, and my phone turned off on me. So we're going to learn from our mistakes, right? So there you go. So there's the beef. I'm adding the milk right now. Half a gallon. This is crazy. But I can see it because it makes a lot, like you said. I mean,
right.
It makes a lot, and it's just.
It's awesome. A great meal. It is a great meal.
Okay. All right. Now we let it soak up, and then what? How long? So like it gets a boil. Like do you add salt and pepper? Is there a certain point where you add salt and pepper to it?
Because I don't add salt because it's already dried beef. It's salty enough. It's cured that way.
Yep.
Pepper. I am a pepper freak. I love it. Seth knows that I put amazing amounts of pepper, so I don't add it. My feeling is, I've kind of got to the point in my life where my family adds what they want. If they want salt on it, we kind of make things. I don't want to say we make them bland. Yeah, like we'll make things a little more bland. And if my wife wants to add a lot of salt, she can. You know, like it's kind of how we do things. But that's just
it's like you're cooking. It's like you're cooking in almost like a mess hall, right? Like essentially like a cafeteria, right? You just make it as basic as possible. Exactly, and then because
you can add hot
take
sauce.
Out. You know,
you add hot
exactly.
Sauce. Pepper,
whatever you want to add.
Yep.
All right, awesome.
And it takes a while to boil. That's the other thing.
Yeah, because of milk, like you said, and you don't want it to obviously burn, right? So
yes.
Do you cover it at all during this whole process?
I don't, because of the condensation. I would assume I don't know a lot about cooking, but I have a feeling that's fine. Condensation isn't necessarily good, but.
Well, I'm also just thinking as far as maybe it could boil a little bit faster, right?
Right. No, I'm with you there.
The heat is in there, right? So, you know what? I am actually going to try that.
You can, because for someone like me, I'm chilling, relaxing in the morning doing this. So like, I don't need it done in 10 minutes. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
I hear
kind of
you.
have it on there. I'm reading my paper or, hanging out with my family or whatever and, friends.
Right.
So,
Just covered it. Okay. So now
okay.
let's go back to the biscuits. We got our flour mixture, right? The key thing with biscuits. Now, this, I mean, if anybody's ever made biscuits, there we go. The number one thing that I keep reading, and you learn it through experience too, right? Is it has to be cold butter. You have to make sure that you have cold butter, and it's got to be like, they say like pea size or like little cubes, almost like maybe a little bit smaller than like a dice, right? Probably, I guess you could say. You can probably range it, I would say, from like a pea to a dice size. I'm going to pull mine out of the fridge right now. If you want to pull yours out too, Greg.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You see that? Mine?
Yep, right, exactly. So there you go. So we got it nice and chopped up, and the colder the better, right? So now what we're going to do is now once we start this, we're going to kind of keep moving, right? Because we don't want the butter to get too warm, and the more you work the dough, the warmer the butter is going to get. So we're not going to work the dough that much because we still need it cold, because when these bad boys come out of the oven, you're going to see and you're going to taste all that butter, right? Like you're just going to taste the butter in the biscuits. So
quick question.
All right. Yeah, man.
What do you know about, like, when I'm reading again baking, I feel overwhelmed at times.
Yeah.
With like when they tell you different kinds of pans versus like 350 is this pan, 375 is this pan. Like this is one of those little air, it's got a little air underneath of it. Like does that matter? Does it change things in cooking time?
I don't really, I mean, yes and no, possibly. I imagine obviously a deeper dish, right? Like if you have your deeper dish, let's say like you're making brownies or something like that, like the dish is a little bit, right? You're going to have the metal instead of air exposed on the outside.
Okay.
Right? You know what I mean? So like thing with the biscuits and like anything else that like, same with like cookies, right? You probably got to think of it as the same exact concept as like a cookie. I mean, it's getting all of that air, and then it's also getting the heat from the bottom of the pan as well. So to give you a little, I guess I'm going to use this bad boy, right? So I got a little, and I'm putting some parchment paper down.
Oh, I love parchment paper.
So it doesn't stick. Yep. It's amazing.
Paper of the heavens. Parchment paper.
It's life-saving. It is life-saving.
And I'm going to put mine down too, because I didn't know if we were going to use it. So
yeah. Oh yeah. So what we'll do is we'll add our butter now, right? So we'll add our butter. And it's still very, very cold. You can kind of mix it around a little bit, but not too much because we don't want to get it too warm, right? Because it's still cold. Then what we're going to do is we are going to add our milk. And that's also the other difference too. A lot of these other doughs and stuff that we've been making on this show, everything's been water. This is milk, so it's going to be a little bit richer. Right. It's going to taste like a biscuit, like, I mean, biscuits they're not meant to be like light. Like who wants a light biscuit? Like, does that even exist? I don't even think is that even a thing?
I don't know. It shouldn't be.
Exactly. I'm just whisking up the egg right here a little bit too, since we're not doing this in like a beater, So,
okay. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
Just kind of whisking it up a little bit. Now we could keep a little bit more milk on the side, right? If you need, just in case, right? Because like you said, the same with your s.o.s. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could add more milk, add more flour, like to each his own, right? If you want, and if the dough doesn't work with you, figure it out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now this dough, it is going to be sticky, right? So don't let that discourage you. This dough is meant to be a little bit stickier. Yep, roll up the sleeves.
Roll up the sleeves, all good.
So when we actually put it on the pan, yeah, this is still going. Oh yeah. So when we actually mess around with it, then you're going to put your hands in some flour, right? So that so it won't stick as much.
See, I don't know. I just go all in. That's
or if you want to get a little crazy, you could even spray your hands with like canola oil. I know that sounds insane, but like a little bit, like with a little bit of the Pam, and your hands are
okay. I'm
greasy.
gonna do that.
Nothing's gonna stick to it. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. See if that works. Yeah. Just a little. Like don't coat yourself.
I have to find it first.
Okay, so I just added that too. Now.
Okay, so add the egg.
Start working this dough. Yep. So add the egg. You got your milk in there.
Yep.
Start working the dough in the bowl. There we go. Again, it's going to stick a little bit. I do have another thing of dough or thing of flour on the side over here that I'm using kind of to help myself a little bit. I just greased
up my fingers to try it. I just did a little
nice. Yeah. It's probably going to work out better than my situation right now.
I'm not really sure, Sven.
I think it's probably
sticky and
sticky. Yeah.
But hey, it's good.
Exactly. Oh man. Yeah, this one is definitely a little extra stickier than.
But again, this is how it was done, like it's how things were done.
Exactly, right? None of this food processor stuff.
Right. Like you got your fingers in there, you got your hands in there,
Okay. This is awesome. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to reach into my flour bowl and put some flour on the counter, and I'm just going to take the dough out and work it on the counter instead. Which either is totally fine. It's up to you, right? But you could also feel the butter, right? Like when you're working it, you're like, what are these little pieces, right? But then it could be a little like not annoying, but you know what I mean? Like you're just like, oh, this butter, but like when you actually, I'm telling you, man, when you see the butter pieces in there, and then if you even take it even a step further and get a little crazy and you watch these biscuits bake in the oven. Like the first time, first time I made these, I made them, I think it was the first year of COVID. I went on a cooking spree. I legit was like to my wife, I'm like, hey, what do you want? I'm like, we're home. Like, I'm like, me. So I made homemade biscuits and I was like, damn, these are really good. So then I looked up a gravy recipe and I actually got a recipe from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Alton Brown. Hey, Alton, if you're watching, what's up, man? Probably not, but you never
give
know.
Us a shout out. We love it.
Right?
We love you. We love you, Alton.
But Alton Brown, one of my favorites, and his recipe. And then I was like, wow, this like homemade biscuits. And I actually did watch them bake in the oven. Because it looked so good.
This way was so much easier to throw it on the.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rather than be in the in the bowl.
In the bowl, yeah.
Yeah, completely. Way better.
Because you could start, right? You started in there, you know what I mean? Because it's not necessarily like a pasta, like, so you're not going to get like, like a pasta, like, I mean, that's how we did it, right? And I think you said you watched that episode maybe in particular.
Yeah.
Just it's all on the counter, right? I mean, you could still do it in a bowl, but traditionally, right? And hey, people could also be doing their biscuits traditionally like this too, right? Like all on the counter as well. So who knows? So what we're going to do is we're going to knead it. You know how to knead?
Yeah.
All right. Knead it not too many times, like I said, because we don't want our butter to melt, right?
Gotcha.
So we'll knead it and make sure to just keep adding a little bit more flour here and there so that you're not getting insanely stuck to your own dough.
But how would you go about kneading this though? Like if it's you with, showing others that might be like, not really sure what that means.
Yeah. And I mean, this is the third time now, right, that we're actually going over kneading on the show. So like you got your dough like this, right? You basically hold it in half, press it down with your palm, turn it.
What's that kneading do? Do you know?
Turn. It's kind of working everything together and also like bringing. My towel just fell over there.
Probably because you're a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, right. Oh man.
Sorry,
I can't believe I come from New York and I am a Cowboys fan and
my gosh, I can't even believe
it. I live 30 minutes from the stadium. Like I'm contemplating if I want to go to a game this year. I just don't know if Jerry deserves my money.
He doesn't need it.
I've been exactly. He doesn't need it. Like I don't want him to spend my money on Harry Hines Boulevard where he unfortunately had his accident, right?
Right.
Gluten, there you go. Exactly. You're working the dough. You're basically giving it life, right? You're working out all the goodness of it. If you, like I said, it could still be a little sticky, but you don't want it to be that sticky. Okay, we've kneaded it. So now what you can do is either you get a rolling pin, right? You can get a rolling pin, or you can try to work it with your hands too. I'm gonna grab my rolling pin actually.
Well, then I'll do my hands. I had a rolling pin ready, but I'll do my hands in.
You could. I mean, you could definitely. Yeah. Actually, I might just try my hands too.
We'll do the old-fashioned way. You know what I mean?
Well, they definitely had rolling pins, right? Because I mean, mothers probably used to chase the children with the rolling pin, right? Back in the day.
I'm pretty sure my mom smacked me with one a few times.
Right? Exactly.
You know? I'm sure I deserved it. I want to say that too. I'm sure I deserved it.
Yeah, probably, right? we all did, right? We all did, exactly.
Right.
Okay. So as you can see, I mean, if you can see like, your people are probably wondering, what is that? That looks like white chocolate chips, right? Like, that looks awesome. But that's our butter. That is our amazing butter that is just sitting in these biscuits. So we're still working out the dough. You kind of want like, it says like 3/4 to like an inch thickness. Okay. Mind you, they're going to rise, right? They're going to rise a little bit because of the baking powder and because of the cream of tartar. So yeah. Okay.
Don't forget to give a little mix to the s.o.s. once in a while. Whenever you think about it, just give a little. Check the bottom. You know what I mean? Because milk can burn. That's one of the issues. Milk can burn.
That is
especially when it's getting
true.
Thick.
Right, which is exactly what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to check it. Just washing my hands. Apologies for the washing of the hands. Not even fully clean. Don't care. I just need to check this s.o.s. and make sure it's not burning. Oh, dude, it smells fantastic.
Yeah, it's. So how long do the biscuits take?
10 to 15 minutes. That's it.
Okay. All right.
Very easy. Yep. 10 to 15 minutes, or depending on, golden brown, if you want them a little more done and whatnot. Okay.
And sorry, I was only thinking because of the fried potatoes, because they'll take like 10 minutes. So I was thinking turning on. I'm going to turn on my. I have a iron skillet for my fried potatoes. Ooh, they take a little bit longer, so nice. I'm going to turn my iron skillet on just to get it warmed up, because it takes a little longer to warm those up.
Right, exactly. And what I'm going to use for now, mind you, you could essentially get like a cutout for your biscuits, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm gonna use is, do I have one? Yes, I do. I'm gonna use a beer glass.
I got one too.
So what you can do if you want is,
where's your beer glass from?
This one is from, where is this? Oh, the Little Elm Brew and Q. That takes place every single year, about 40 minutes north of me. They do barbecue, beer, and they just have a festival like once a year.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah. Where's your glass from?
Mine is Elk Creek up in near State College. Great little place that makes their own beer. their own little wine. It's a great little spot outside of State College. So
Okay.
perfect for this stuff.
Awesome. All right, so we got our dough ready, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're basically just kind of form the biscuits. Look at that.
About like that. Good to go.
It's actually, this is a better
Yeah.
picture. Yeah, there it is. See all that butter?
Yeah, that's
So we'll just align, and you don't have to spread them out too far on your baking sheet, right? Because this isn't. They're gonna rise a little bit more than they're actually going to expand, right?
gotcha.
Good
to know.
Yeah, because like you got your cookies, right? They always tell you like, make sure you spread your cookies far enough apart so that
Right.
they're not touching and blah, blah, all that stuff. I mean, because yeah, they'll eventually start cooking. I mean, don't get me wrong, these bad boys are going to expand, but they're definitely going to rise a little bit more than they're going to expand. Okay. Now you could definitely make them thicker as well too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, a nice homemade biscuit. So now with the leftover is I'll just fold it right back and then knead it again.
Gotcha.
Yep. And let me check this s.o.s really quick.
Ooh, good call. Good call.
Because it's a habit of mine where I'm constantly with the experience from working, and I'm not taking anything away from such as a person from like as you who cooks for his family, and always doing stuff, but I'm always multitasking, right? You're always checking things, and that's one
Right.
thing that I mean it's kind of tough that I'm learning, with this show.
Yeah,
making sure that I'm constantly checking and still talking, engaging, all of this stuff, right? So appreciate everybody viewing in tonight. To check out s.o.s. This is my first time ever making it, and this is Greg's first time ever making biscuits. So
yes,
I think that's pretty special in itself that we're both kind of, trying something new.
Well, and the big thing is too, I mean, you're gonna fail at cooking sometimes, and it
Yes.
is perfectly okay. Like I hear people sometimes like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, this isn't what I planned." Well, okay, it's okay because it's how it works, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I failed cooking something. I was so excited, then you give it to the family, and it's like that's not what I really had intended.
I think I do that more than I would like.
Right, and but the great part is you talk about it and you kind of make it this like, hey, what could we do differently? What could we change a little bit?
I'm my own worst critic. Is that what they say?
I agree. Yeah,
right?
I'm the same way. And I can feel terrible. The butter getting a little more room temperature.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You know what I mean?
So like if it's you definitely feel it melting a little bit in some of these.
Yeah.
Because we're working the dough a little bit more. It's not necessarily going to take anything away from it, right? But it's just obviously melting a little bit. All right. Okay. Oh yeah, look at that bad boy. Boop. That's a thick one. That's a little thick right there. I love it.
You know what? I got one left. I'm just gonna I agree. I'm gonna make this one like the Frankenstein of the bunch.
Right.
The one that just shouldn't fit, but it's probably gonna be the best one.
And take the longest to cook.
That's exactly
right. You're gonna be like, oh my god, the other ones are done, but this one didn't.
It was such a good idea.
He's not done yet.
Well,
it's always that last cookie. It's that last cookie, right? You're
right.
like, you know what? Or the last pancake. You're like, I'm gonna make this pancake like 10 feet long.
Right. Yeah. See, that's why I don't bake, Sven, because I'm gonna throw that in. That's exactly what's gonna happen. That one's not gonna cook, and then I'm gonna be, irritated, or I wouldn't say irritated, but you know what I mean.
I get what you're saying.
So it's kind of funny.
I need to get like a mat or something for my countertop. Okay. Awesome.
How many did you get out of that?
I got, and a little bit, I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I got 11. Mind you, some of them are a little bit different size.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. That's okay. It's okay, I guess, in a sense, right?
Right.
Hello. Just washing my hands over here. I need a camera that follows me. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, but as far as for the cooking aspect of it, it does kind of stink. You know what I mean? So now it's like they're gonna kind of. Hopefully, they don't cook too uneven. But again, this happens, right? People make, like I said, it's something that is probably more common than not. Oh, that looks amazing.
Yeah, that's
Put that full screen. Put that full screen, Dave. Oh yeah, mine is boiling too.
and that's where. And here's the thing: it's going to get hot, and it's going to seem, a little thicker. Or just remember that when it cools down, it's going to get thicker.
Exactly.
So you want to keep that in mind
Exactly.
when it gets cooler. Like people
Yup.
want to thicken it up, and it's like they kind of forget that when it gets down to where you can actually eat it, it's going to get a lot thicker.
I can totally see what you mean. I mean, I'm gonna put a little bit of
In
salt.
fact, I'm turning mine off.
I probably
turning it off.
shouldn't. You're turning it off? Okay. I'm
Yeah,
gonna turn mine off as well then.
And again,
And
the
I'm also
boiling, from what I think, Sven, you've said in the past, is what gets the flour to turn into a gravy. I mean, that's a gravy. A gravy is basically you have meat juice or whatever, and you just add flour, and you get your thickness from that.
Exactly.
I think people are afraid to make gravies at times, and they don't realize how easy a gravy is. It is
so easy.
Yeah, waste not, want not. It is cake.
As long as, and that's the thing though, it's like if you get that knowledge, right? Like, and that's the thing about cooking is there's a lot, of course, there's so much out there. There's so many different techniques and like things that you see online, and everybody with their Instagram posting and all of this crap. Like, oh my God, look at this egg white foam that I just created that looks like a bird's nest. You know what I mean? Like over this piece of like, it's just, but like the basic things like this, like, like it's like, obviously I feel like there's more TLC in something like this. I know people could argue with me with that, but like a homemade biscuit, this homemade, this s.o.s.
Did you throw yours in yet?
I did actually. Oh. Yes. I need a timer. Let me, I'm not advertising for them, but I mean, I will, Alexa, put a timer for 11 minutes.
Oh, I don't do that. I can't do that. I use my microwave. I'm a microwave like clock for everything.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. All right.
Like if I'm watering the garden, microwave clock. I love the microwave clock.
Love it. Now we got our biscuits in, right? We got them at 450 degrees. They're going to go for about 10 to 15 minutes or until golden brown. If you want to take it a step further, since this episode is all about health, right? We're worrying about our cholesterol and, going to the gym and all that stuff. You could even melt some more butter and pour that on top as the biscuits come out. I mean, I don't, if you want to, by all means, I'm okay.
I'm not going to either, but I'm in. I could see that.
We're going to take it a step further though, because what we're doing right now is we're going to make these home fries, these taters, right? So like we said, I boiled mine. You baked yours, I believe you said?
Yep. I baked the skins one,
Get them nice and soft, right? So I got some, I like red. I know you said you're a fan of the yellow, right?
The yellow guy, yep.
Some of the yellow. Shout out to cousin Eddie in Vegas Vacation. Gave me some of the yellow.
Or Back to the Future. Don't call me yellow,
Don't call me, right? Exactly.
Or chicken. Don't call me a chicken.
Exactly. All right, so I got my pan going, and let's throw our lard in, right? You actually have, like, I have the Crisco vegetable oil. I mean, I guess, is that the same thing?
So, okay, to
not really.
hit a kind of healthy note a tad. So what I have started to do is I will do like some lard and olive oil, just half and half. So
Ooh,
kind of
okay.
like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like you're just kind of taking a stroll. You're not going all in, you're just kind of,
I dig it. I dig it a lot, my friend. I dig it.
know.
All right, I just put some of the lard in, and it is melting. I do not have a skillet, which is totally okay. I just have a regular, nice little pan.
I have a
Now
iron skillet, Sven, from like my family of like
right here.
decades, like a huge iron skillet. You know what I mean?
That's
This
awesome.
thing over
That
here.
right there,
You know what I mean?
that is amazing.
This is a newer one, I'll say that, but I have one that's a bigger one, and it has been with us for a long time. You get an iron skillet, it stays with your family. You like pass it down through your will. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. So there you go. I took this off the heat just for a second, just to show you guys. Here's my taters in this nice Crisco, and I smell the Crisco. Like the smell that lard and like this, like the shortening that it gives, it's completely, it's very different, right, than what you would get from your olive oil. Mind you,
Yeah.
you're going to get a completely different taste too, as well. Now, for your taters, what do you put on them?
Potatoes.
Just like any salt, pepper, like you like to get
I
a
mean,
little crazy.
again, I fry them and then people put what they want on them. I just, that's how I do stuff. You know what I mean? That's just how we do it in
No,
my house. So.
I get it. I get it. I guess I'm kind of have that where, and I mean, not shame on, but I usually cook because my in-laws are closer than my brother and my parents. They're still in like the Northeast in New York and New Jersey, but I don't even ask. I just go. I'm like, you want me to make? They're like, yep, that's fine. So yeah, so I just like for my home fry, like for these, like I kind of treat them like, because this is breakfast, right? Almost like, but you can still have it for dinner, lunch. Like it seems like you could have this for anything. So salt, pepper, and a little bit. I've been really high on one. I love Hungarian paprika. That is phenomenal. But smoked paprika, I've been messing around with.
Oh yeah, I like that a lot.
Wow, this pan is very, very slippery. So we'll let.
Yeah, mine's nice and hot too. It's.
Yep.
I
do have an iron. I do have an iron skillet as well. But I chose to go with the same color pots. And this s.o.s, I'm mixing it right now. I am going to bring it over. Let me see if I can get a little bit of a clean going over here, actually. While we're doing this, I'm going to crack open another cold one as well.
I'm in for that.
So how are you liking the Eagles this year? I know we got to talk a little bit of football. Dave, if you want to chime in, my man, I know you're a big fantasy guy as well. Greg, do you play fantasy? I guess there you go. Do you play fantasy?
Yeah, I actually won this year. I won the league this year. I got lucky with drafting some wide receivers. We have a keeper league. I got lucky with those. You know what I mean? I kept like Antonio Brown from like 2 years ago in a weird league. You know what I mean?
Before he went off the deep end, you know?
Right.
He heard fantasy and he was like, I'm coming in.
I like the Eagles this year, though. I do like the Eagles this year.
You're still on mute, Dave.
Great moves. They really made some great moves. So I do love the Eagles this year. I love them every year, but I'm a Philly fan. So at the end of the season, I always say my motto is we'll get them next year because we never win. So Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, you know what I mean? Eagles, like that's my motto, Dave. So what do you think, Dave?
Well, you got to be excited about A.J. Brown coming. And that really lifts Jalen Hurts' potential, I think, as a fantasy quarterback this year. I'm pretty excited about trying to get Hurts where I can. Yeah.
And from a team standpoint too. I mean, now he has that guy. Like he has the dude. So there's really no excuses.
He's got multiple weapons now,
I agree.
There's no excuses. Completely. If he doesn't perform, it's on him. I'm sorry. Like because they got a decent plethora of running backs, right? They still got Dallas Goedert. I mean, he's got A.J. Brown. He's got Devontae Smith. Like that offense could be scary.
Offensive line is not bad. To protect him enough, take care of that stuff. But well, how's the Cowboys going to do?
I'm not one of those fans that comes out, you know, and like, oh, this is our year. Like, yeah, we're going to win it. Like, no, like I'm a realist. They're not going to win. As much like they have a lot of talent, right? That defense. And I said it last year too. And I was like, guys, I'm like, Dan Quinn. Everybody's like, oh, well, why do you? I'm like, he's a defensive coordinator. That's what he is. He is an awesome defensive coordinator, and he turned that defense around. Mind you, Micah Parsons is also
ridiculous.
I was kind of not skeptical about that pick. I was like, oh, you know, like Micah, he'll be cool. He'll be good, right? And I'm a Michigan fan too. So coming from Penn State, I'm like, they run a lot in the Big Ten. So like, you know, they got talent, and like Penn State, they breed linebackers too, right? Like a lot of them have come out there, LeVar Arrington, Paul Posluszny, just to name a few. And after seeing Micah play, I was like, holy crap, this was the steal of the draft. Like this guy is an absolute monster, right? I don't know. I mean, I like Zeke. I like Pollard. I think Dak is a good QB. I love me some Schultz. Like I don't know. There's just something fantasy-wise, the team could be amazing, right? I mean, you're looking at guys that can finish in top 15 in all positions, right? Literally quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. All 15, maybe even top 10, right? But when it comes down, like that's not how you win games. I mean, it's not like so I don't know. I mean, they're probably considered the favorite to win the actual division just because of experience and all that stuff.
I would agree.
Like, because Jalen Hurts, right? He hasn't played with AJ Brown yet. Like it's a slightly different team. So I don't know, but I'm never high on the Cowboys. I'm a bad fan, and I live in the wrong state for it.
Dave, do you like a specific team?
Well, those who know me know that I'm a big Pittsburgh Steelers guy.
Oh, my goodness.
Man, we got a mountain to climb this year. So,
yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how that quarterback battle works out in camp, see where they go.
That was a great pick, though. I mean, you can't go wrong with Pickett. You know, it's a great pick for them. You know?
I was pleased with
It's a great Pickett for them.
Yeah.
Wow, very clever.
I'll be here just tonight. No, I think but the thing that Steeler fans also have to realize too, you still have Mike Tomlin. Like Mike Tomlin is a hell of a coach.
I love that guy.
He is unbelievable. They almost made the playoffs with Mason Rudolph behind center. Like, and I mean, Mason, you're great. You were awesome at Oklahoma State, I think you played at, right?
Right.
Well, he's an unbelievable coach. And that right there shows you how much coaching really does play a factor. Mind you, if you have talent, you can win. Like you don't need you set it on autopilot like a Peyton Manning or a Tom Brady. Yes. But Mike Tomlin, I mean, I don't know, man. I think the Steelers could be a force to reckon with in a couple of years again.
Well, let's hope so.
Najee Harris, Deontay Johnson, right? Firemouth. I mean, they got all the pieces. They just got to figure out who's going to hand the ball off and who's going to throw it.
But they're going to be playing some good teams. That's the other thing. I mean, when you're playing Cincinnati and Cleveland for a long time, it pads your stats. So they're kind of finally playing.
It's no longer desirable to play Cincinnati and Cleveland.
Well, and even the Eagles got lucky playing, the Giants and Cowboys and Washington at times.
Alexa, turn off timer.
They were easy wins. You know what I mean? Like we knew that you could get 6 games out of that, or something like that. So
absolutely, there's no freebies. There's no freebies in the AFC North anymore, unless you count the Steelers, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
The Steelers are the freebie.
That division's interesting.
Not with Tom.
For sure.
That guy is a legit. I love that guy.
He is. He's an unbelievable coach, and that's the thing. I think that people not necessarily Steeler fans and you know what I mean. Like just like people forget that he can do great things. Would not be surprised if the Steelers surprised everybody and went 8 and 9 this year or something like that. You're just, and it's like, wait, did they almost make the playoffs with Mitchell Trubisky or Kenny Pickett? Like what? Like this is weird.
It would be a good accomplishment, yeah, for sure.
All right, my timer has gone off.
Mine too. Tell me what they should look like, Sven.
That's a lot of butter. Mine are not brown just yet.
Okay, mine aren't either. Okay. I didn't turn on my convection oven. Maybe I should have tried that. I don't know if that makes a difference. Do you know anything about convection, like legit putting on your convection spinner thing?
No.
Okay.
Convex bake. Oh, I see that. Is that what you're talking?
Yeah.
Like you got your bake.
Yeah, it's like a fan in the back. It moves air and it's supposed to go a little quicker, but I like the science. I guess that's the thing why I enjoy cooking is I do like the science and want to know it. So I kind of want to know, like, does the convection oven, what's it do?
Never used that feature actually. So that's a great question right there. What I'm going to do though, in the meantime, is I am going to get a plate ready for when we serve it up, my friend. And I'm trying to think of a good phrase or drop, when we're doing this, when we're doing the show. What do you think, Greg? Should it be like the reveal or what should the final product be called? What do you think? I'm going to take a poll. I mean, you don't have to, we could discuss it or you could come up with something right. I don't want to put you on the spot, but like, so that people know like, hey, like, oh, this is the big reveal, right?
Right. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of like a minimalist. I'm going to be honest.
Less is more.
Right. I'll be like, this is the reveal. Like that's what I would kind of do. Like, I'd bring it to you and put it in front of you and be like, this is the reveal.
This is it.
Other people they do all their stuff,
I got a little information on convection oven for you.
Oh, nice.
Thank you, Dave. That's why we have Dave.
Because of the fan circulating the air that you were talking about, Greg, it helps it maintain a more consistent temperature throughout, which really helps if you're cooking multiple things on multiple racks in the oven.
Love it. Love it.
Not even thought about that at all.
That sounds amazing. And I have that feature on this oven. Never used it. All right.
I use it all the time just because it's a feature, but I don't know what it does. Like,
right. Now you do.
Chicken nuggets for the fam or something,
Here's my taters. Cooking up right now. And about to be shown up there.
Yeah, mine are almost done.
Oh yeah. I added a little bit of pepper, didn't add any salt just yet. I'm kind of going the route of adding salt towards the end of dishes, right? Because my main man, one of my good buddies, Gordon Ramsay over there, he doesn't like adding salt till the very end, right? Because salt dries out the moisture. You know what I mean? Salt was used to preserve things, so it's very. You don't want to put it in really initially in the beginning, almost, right? And then you just kind of sprinkle a little bit on the end.
Fried potatoes, you want salt on the end, just like French fries.
Okay.
Like I put them on a plate with paper towels to get some of the oil off of them, and I put on salt. That is one time where I do add salt, Sven.
Okay. So I want to say that my biscuits might be done. I'm gonna leave them in for maybe another. Alexa, set a timer for 45 seconds.
Greg May, set a timer for 45 seconds on your microwave. Okay, I just did mine. Sweet.
Nice. See, everybody. I mean, you got technology too.
Right.
I am going to open up another beer. And this one, as we were talking about the other day, Shiner, so from Shiner, Texas, very popular. This is the trail mix. You probably can't. It's very bright. I got my lights on, but it's Shiner trail mix inspired ale, and it is absolutely delicious. Did not think I would like it because you're like trail mix with like nuts and raisins and all that stuff. Like it has a very unique and solid flavor to it for an ale.
That was my 45 seconds. There you go.
Alexa, turn off timer.
Exactly.
Yep. You just had to tell your fingers.
Mine was Hop Horizon.
Okay.
Another Trogs brew. So Hop Horizon IPA, which is really good.
Okay. So golden brown. I may go a little bit longer. Did you pull yours out yet, or how are they looking?
I'm gonna get them real soon. I mean, I'm probably gonna pull out my potatoes. If you want to show.
Ooh.
Potatoes right there.
I just tried that s.o.s.
There you go. Kind of like that crispiness. That's what you like for the potatoes.
Well, you also got it in a skillet. I mean, the skillet skillet is up here. Everything else is low. You can't even see it on camera right now.
Well, that's one of those things where you buy and you have forever. You know what I mean?
Yep,
it's like an investment.
Exactly.
You know?
And I got one, and it's crazy how like when you have a skillet, like you really associate it with like potatoes. You know, like that's the first thing that I think of with a skillet. It's potatoes.
Actually the only thing I make with a skillet. To be like if I think about it, I really only make fried potatoes in my like family skillet. You know.
And there's nothing wrong. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
It's kind of funny. I never thought about it before until now.
Yeah, mine is just sitting in my cabinet. All right, I got my potatoes going. So I'm adding a little bit of salt, pepper, smoked paprika to my potatoes.
Nice.
Getting a little crazy. I know Nate, if you're watching, I know he would probably love this. He'd probably do the same exact thing. Plus, the thing about the paprika is it gives it that nice little color too to it.
I'm gonna pull mine out, my biscuits. I think they're. Yeah, I'm not a baker, but I'm feeling that.
Hey, if you're feeling it, man, and they look, there you go. Oh, those look great. How awesome do they look?
Silly good.
Right? Yep.
Same. I'm gonna burn my mouth right now just eating one. You know how you do that? You're so excited, you can't wait, and you burn your mouth for like 3 days because you're so hungry for it. It's so good.
Yeah, and these are the homemade biscuits. Wow. They look absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And they're not that difficult, right? They are not that difficult.
No,
I mean,
not at all.
You just made them for the first time. Like, yes, they were a little messy and all that stuff, but like, look at the result. Look at what you just made, right? And like, especially if you got kids and like a family, like it's also fun to do with your family. Like I said, if you got kids, like it's always, what's up, Don? This is my buddy Don. Got our golf outing, our annual golf outing next year.
Don,
ooh, okay.
Can I just address Don really quick? Don, I'm a really weird guy where I love like onions in an odd way, but not with potatoes or cheesesteaks. Can't figure it out.
You live in Pennsylvania.
I get whiz without, okay? Or with
actually,
with, out.
I was just in Philly. I think I was just in Philly a year ago, actually. Wait, was it a year ago? It might have been 2 years ago. And you're right. I'm not a huge grilled onion fan. Like I go mushrooms, cheese whiz. That's what I got when I came. I forget the name of the place that I came to. It wasn't one of the famous two.
Right.
But yeah, cheese whiz and mushrooms.
Yeah, my wife's a mushroom person. I just want a cheese with steak, you know?
I mean, that's what it's called, right? A cheesesteak.
Right, cheesesteak. I don't need all the other stuff.
It's not called a cheese, onions, and oh no, and I do add peppers too.
Yeah. But again, to each his own. You know what I mean?
What kind of onion do you add there, Mr. Don? Yeah, Don, we've been playing in this golf outing for, God, I think I've lived in Texas for 10 years, so we've been playing for the past I guess, 8 years besides last 2 because of COVID and whatnot. So, and we have our golf outing next week at the Cowboys golf course.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Good for you guys. I'm glad you get out. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're really looking forward to it. Oh my God, these biscuits look amazing. I'm actually just going to take a piece of one. I don't care.
I mean, I'm going to start to plate mine up. Is that okay?
How about it? Yes, please. Whatever's ready, let's do it. Let's get our reveal going. My peppers are still on a little bit. I mean, my potatoes. I'm salting them now.
Oh, they're flaky too. Those things are flaky.
I'm also, what, the biscuits, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yup.
Pulled
That's
right
exactly
apart.
what you
I
want.
didn't even need a.
Okay. I added my salt to the s.o.s, right? Apologies for staring at my back. I'm going to add a little bit of pepper as well. Normally have you ever gotten fresh peppercorn? You got fresh peppercorn out there in the good old PA.
Well, yes, that's what I use. I mean, we grind it. So once every like month or two, I grind my own peppercorns and it goes into the pepper shaker. You know?
Do you, I imagine you grind it with like an actual like
coffee grinder.
Oh, okay.
You just clean it out.
I'm very fancy. I go with my mortar and pedal, and I'm there grinding away. All right, these biscuits are insanely hot.
I push a button and I dance while I do it. So,
no, hey, honestly, you're still going to get the same flavor, right? There's nothing. Yes. There's really nothing better than actually like, and going that extra step to take the peppercorn and actually grind it and do all of that. The flavor.
It's a huge difference.
It's such a big difference, and you definitely taste the difference too.
Right, right.
Okay. I am going to put a biscuit. Which biscuit looks good? Well, I guess it doesn't really matter, right? Because we are going to smother this bad boy in some s.o.s. I'm actually going to open it. Ooh, still steamy. Woo!
All right.
Potatoes.
There's my plate. I think it's. How's that?
How's it looking? Apologies.
Like a heart attack. But a good
should have gone and gotten the mess hall little plates. You know, like the metal ones?
Right. Yes.
That they actually used, right, in the service and whatnot.
Yeah. Normally I would douse this with pepper, but
I just put some in.
Oh, good. It's out. I thought it was hidden in a cupboard that I couldn't get to right now because of a camera. So here's how I would normally eat it. So there's what it looks like, how other people, but I love pepper. I mean, legit. Like to see it, taste it.
So there it is. How's mine looking?
Solid. Awesome. That looks.
I think there's only one more thing that we have to do, and that's try it. Let's give it.
I'm going home fries. I love home fries, so I'm going. What are you going to
fries first? Yeah, let's do the fries first, man. Let's do them. Let's do the taters first. Dude, that s.o.s. Holy wow.
That's ridiculous. So good. I like the crispiness of the potatoes. Like that's the part that I enjoy. I think that's why I like it over potatoes. You get the mushiness of the s.o.s. and then the potatoes.
Don't give me soft potatoes. Don't give me soft potatoes, right?
They need to be fried. They have to be. That's so good.
This is unbelievable. And it's like, this is so easy to make too.
Right.
All right,
agree.
I'm going to the biscuit. I'm going to the
Me
biscuit
too.
now. I'm done. Wow. What do you think of those homemade biscuits, my friend? Unbelievable, right?
The crispiness. Like, that's the thing. You get the mushy of like the s.o.s, but like you have to have that crispiness, so that counter, like it's a little counterbalance. You know what I mean?
It makes it exactly when you add. It like you say, it makes it soft, and then the outside of the biscuit, like it has that. It just creates that pillow.
Even if you overcooked it a tad on the biscuit, you know what I mean? Like it would still be ridiculous.
Wow. I am thoroughly impressed with this recipe, my friend. It is unbelievable at how rich. Obviously, it's milk, right? So it's going to be rich to begin with. But this dried beef, I can't get over the actual taste of. Like it is. It's literally like a biscuits and gravy, but it's just a different variation, essentially.
And
like
I do want to say though, if in my area, you can use sausage. Like you can use. I don't want people to just get stuck on like, well, I can't make it because I don't have dried beef. Like you can use any meat, hamburger, sausage. I mean, it's banging with dried beef, but sausage is good too, you know? And yeah, so good.
Wow. This has been absolutely fantastic. Greg, I truly appreciate you coming on.
Hey, thanks
be
for
sure
having
to
me, Sven.
follow. Be sure to follow Greg on Instagram, right? Maze Live Edge.
Maze Live Edge. Yeah, I make some tables in my spare time. You know what I mean? Have some little fun with that. So, you know, it's all good. I had so much fun. It was so much fun, Sven. Thank you.
This was an absolute blast. Yeah, I really appreciate you hopping on, and I'm definitely gonna make this. And here's the thing that I do is I'm gonna take this to the next like I'm taking this to
so
the
what would
next
you do?
level of how I could.
What do you think? What could you like?
I may look into like maybe adding a little bit of cheese, right?
Okay.
Maybe instead of like you said, the dried beef, maybe I'll go to the butcher around here in Texas. And I mean, we have no short, like we have plenty of cows, and I mean, Texas, you know, beef, it's everywhere, right? Maybe get some sausage, or honestly, any kind of meat can go in here. This is unbelievable.
I agree.
Actually, this literally just popped into my head. So I smoke a lot of meats, right? Next time I do brisket, I am going to chop up some brisket and throw in chopped brisket and make chopped brisket s.o.s.
Right.
Wow. Brisket will not happen. I'm trying to think when. I got to make a brisket soon. It's got to be USD choice though, so I gotta do my search. But these biscuits, this taters, s.o.s, absolutely fantastic. I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you everybody for tuning in. This is Cooking with Sven.
Thank you guys. It was awesome.